Hey CCFC again, this is Coach Stu, and here's a second video for us to take a look at. This time I've added in some defenders to try and see how we can win the ball in the back and transition into a good attack. First of all, after my last video, I realized there's a lot of other sounds that you're hearing as I'm trying to click around the keyboard, so I'm going to try and minimize those, but if it ever gets a little fuzzy, I apologize. But hopefully this is going to help us understand not only what we do with the ball, but how we get around other teams who are trying to defend us. So if you notice here, we've got the ball in the back. We've got our three back defenders. We've got a center defender, and we've got our two fullbacks, numbers 2 and 3. And this is how we win the ball. So a lot of times this is very familiar, where we got our defensive and offensive attacking mids who are back here trying to track with their players. But just notice how my striker is always nice and high. Okay, he doesn't get involved in the defense. He needs to be the kind of person that we can get the ball out to. And if he's stuck down here in the middle defending, then whenever we win the ball, we'll have nobody to get the ball to. The first movement that you're going to notice is, let's just say that number 4, our center defender, Dominic, Rory, Cole, several other guys that can play this position, they win the ball off of their number 10. The first thing that they should be looking to do is trying to get the ball out into spaces. Could be number 9, could be a ball up here for number 10. And let's just say that they're looking for a ball and it kind of looks just like this. So first of all, when he wins the ball, as soon as he wins it, boy, we have to have just a couple of guys who are willing to get out into space, hollering for the ball. Mikey, Malachi, Luke, both of our Lukes could be out here. And then we have several players, Gabe, Cole, Kemper, who can play up here. But notice how when we win the ball, they get as big as they possibly can. And ideally, we can play a ball out to one of these guys as quickly as possible. And you're going to notice that the defense is going to shift. It's not going to show any yellow guys. Our team's shifting yet. So we're the yellows. The other team is the red. But notice how we've been able to immediately relieve some pressure, that instead of passing the ball just out here, and certainly not up the middle of the field, we want to look for these balls that make it out to big spaces just like this. Really, we want to try and play this ball somewhere up close to the half line. But we've got to get it up off the ground, out of that thick grass, and into somebody's feet. And as soon as number 9 gets it, he can see the whole field. He can see number 10, but he's also going to start to see this guy coming back, or coming up to defend, number 7 maybe coming back, and then we've got to start creating movement immediately so that we can try and get forward. And we did this really well in our first game, actually. We got the ball to the wings, but then it broke down a few times because we kept trying to get the ball back here in the middle, and I want to see what kind of interchanges we can create, what kind of passing we can create between number 9 here, Fort on the other side of the field, number 7, and our center striker, number 10. We've got good players who can play in all these positions. So just notice the defense is going to, I'm going to slow this down just a little bit, the defense is going to converge, and they're going to start creating some movements so that they can defend. Okay, so all of a sudden, number 9's space got a lot smaller, and now he's really only got 1 or maybe 2 good options. He's got a good pass here to number 10, which is our most obvious choice. If he gets in a lot of trouble and both number 7 and number 2 come and converge on him, he can always pass to number 3, who should probably be in this area. But notice how we start to get forward after we make this pass into our forward's feet. Number 9 comes up. He wins the ball. We've got players that are shifting. Now notice, as he's getting to the ball, number 7, this guy's really important. It's really important that our backside player, whoever's on the side of the field away from the ball, gets up and into the middle of the field. Number 10 has slid over to this side and created a lot of space. And number 7, or whoever this outside wing player is, can easily slide up and in. The good thing is, if you'll notice, number 7 is closer to the ball than their number 3, which means he has kind of an inside track to get up the middle of the field here. That's a position we want to try and expose. If number 3 here tried to move over, then that's a smart defensive play on their part, But if we can, we want to try and get up and moving. So it's not just about the players who are on this side of the field. The players that are on this side of the field really need to get involved in the attack. But notice now how we've started to create some movement. So now number 9 can pass to number 8, our attacking center mid, and number 10, and even number 3 to be able to come back. So now there's a pass in motion down into number 10's feet, and you'll notice that the blue team has started to shift. But now you're going to see this is really important. Again, number 9, when he makes this pass, this outside wing, he cannot stand and watch the ball. He has to move up the field. Because number 10, this is Gabe, this is Kemper, this is Cole. We've got several guys who can play this position, guys that I haven't even discovered yet who might be able to play, that can then play a ball into this space. This is where we had a lot of success in our last game, our first game of the season, by playing the ball into this space. It's behind the defender, and when we make this play, all of a sudden now everybody from both teams is running towards the blue team's goal, and that's a good thing. So we make one good pass into number 10's feet, our striker. He's going to make a pass up here, but if he gets too crowded, number 4, number 2, even number 6 come around him, he can always come back to number 8, our attacking center mid, who could either make a pass back out to number 3 or even switch the field and get the ball into space here for number 2 to run into, or maybe even make a great split pass up the middle for number 6. Lots of options here, but it starts with getting the ball wide and then getting the ball to our forwards' feet. So notice what he does here. Number 10 is going to collect the ball, and then he's looking for that split pass. Now notice, he makes this pass. Number 9 is onside. Okay, as long as number 3 is here, you can't be offside in your own half. But when we make this pass, we make the pass while number 9 is moving up the field. And as long as we make that pass while he's making this movement, now we've got 1, 2, and then as soon as this forward makes the pass, he's going to start moving 3 guys in the attack, and almost all the blue players are just rushing to catch up. Notice again, number 4 is holding our last line of defense, and these guys on the blue team, everything's happened so quickly that they don't even have a chance to react. But now we got players getting forward, and we're attacking the ball. And notice when we get here, oops, I guess I didn't finish the sequence yet. But let me see if we can put it in motion, because the sequence after we make that pass is pretty easy to figure out how to scoring a great goal in the back of the net. So let's look at it again. We win the ball in the back. As soon as we win it, we've got players getting out into spaces. Our attacking players are moving. And we get a nice big pass out to somebody on the outside who can then come and win it. And even though their defense is trying to react, all we have to do is make one easy pass into this guy's feet. And as soon as we do, we can be off and making the attack happen by, as soon as we make this pass, moving down the field, making a nice split pass. We've got now players starting to advance into attacking positions, and we are getting forward. And we all know how that's going to end. It ends with a great goal by having 3 or 4 guys attack, and that's how we go from winning the ball in our back end and being a nice tight shape, this is a good formation, to with one pass making it out, one pass making it up, a third pass through, and then we're in on goal.